Alright everyone, welcome to this video. In this video we're going to cover basically how to optimize your website structure. So the idea behind this is to optimize the above the fold, below the fold, booking calendar, pop-ups, loading page, blogs, and so on. This video is going to cover this section here, website optimization. There's also the website design and website speed. And if we were to take an overview, a larger view of it, this is in the lead informs themselves section. So basically what this means is that we're trying to optimize your website structure to increase conversion rate. So if I go even further, what does that mean? Well, if a lead notices your business, if you're a service business, contractor, agency, whatever type, local or online, when a lead notices your business, what they're going to do most cases is either contact you or they're going to inform themselves about your business. And when they inform themselves, they're either going to check your online reputation, which means your reviews, the review quality, distribution. They're going to check your website, so the website, how it's structured, so how they get the information, the design of it, so what's the branding, what's the emotional feeling, what's the feeling basically that they get on your website, as well as the speed, so how fast are they getting the information, and how fast can they make a decision with you. And then after that you have the content, so they're going to check out your content, see how many followers you have, how many likes you have, and so on and so forth. So in this video we're going to cover this section here to basically try to increase your conversion rate. If I go to I'm just going to go to the projections calculator first, just to show you guys how important this could be for your business. And then we're also going to go through it in our training here. So this training is going to be 30 to 45 minutes. Probably this video is going to be around that too. We're going to skim through this. If ever you want to download it and follow along, it's going to be linked in the description below, so you can get access to this for free, as well as all the other trainings that we have. So let me just make a copy of this projections calculator here to show you guys what this can mean for your business. So we're going to be covering this section here. So conversion rate. So basically conversion rate boost for your website. So let's say in most cases that we've seen for our clients, we could almost always, depending if your site hasn't been updated in maybe 2-3 years, there's new ways, there's new strategies and new things. You could almost always, I say, improve your website's conversion rate by 10%. And one of the main ways we do it is those 3 ways: website design, structure, and the site speed. But with the website design structure, the website structure, if it's not structured properly, it's just an easy way to reorder basically the order of your website, your homepage, and all the other pages, to give the most information possible to the client, and basically handle every single objection from the most difficult objection to overcome to the second most difficult or the second most valuable objection to overcome. So if we were to look here, just to give you guys an idea of what this can mean for your business. So let's say in this example here, we have a business that has 2,000 visitors a month to their website. Their conversion rate, meaning the percentage of people that end up calling them from visiting the website, is 3%. So out of those 2,000, you only have 3% of them that end up calling them. Out of those 3 that end up calling them, 30% end up actually purchasing from them. And their average order value for this business is $2,000, just to give, again, random example, refund return rate. And what does this mean? Well, now you've got a profit increase of $8,000. This is how much money you're making per month with this business, with these stats. Now imagine you were to increase your conversion rate to your website structure, and let's say you were to increase it by 10%. Well, now you're basically getting 10% more revenue to your business. This goes straight to your bottom line. If everything else stays equal and all you're getting is just a 10% increase in conversion rate, this goes to your bottom line. And if you see here, going from 3% conversion rate to 3.2% conversion rate isn't crazy. This is something we've replicated multiple times with the business we worked with. But even if you were to implement these things yourself, in most cases, for most businesses, I would say 95% of businesses, there is room for improvement, and there is 10% room for improvement. In some cases, we've seen 50% improvement in conversion rate, some very significant improvements in conversion rate. We've seen, increases like 14% increases total. So going from 3% to a 17% conversion rate in some extreme cases. So we've seen all ranges. But in any case, if your website isn't converting well, if you increase your conversion rate by 20%, then you've got 20% more revenue. If it's 20% from your structure, then it's another 10% from your website speed, and then another 10% from website design. You increase it by 40%, and now you've just increased your bottom line by 40% as well. So these optimizations can have a large effect on your business, and especially if your business is even bigger, has more visitors, and so on and so forth. So anyways, this is what we're going to cover in this video. So let me go back to this here. So first thing we're going to talk about, taking a little time to load because of this video. We're going to go here, website structure. So the most important aspect is the above the fold. Well, actually, let's get into the actual training here. Once again, 30 to 45 minute video probably. Approximate time to implement if you're a beginner, 1 to 2 weeks. If you know what you're doing and you're able, you're competent in your websites, most time you could do this in a day, 2 days. You can set this up, or most of them you can set up pretty easily. So I'm not going to go over the profits here. We just went through that. So let me just go to the actual content. So introduction. Well, another thing about optimizing a website that I forgot to mention is it also increases sales. So like we're showing with the projections calculator, you could get more sales, more revenue for your business. It also reduces confusion. So it might increase your close rate as well, because if your website is structured properly, when people are going to contact you, they're going to be more likely to actually be looking for your service. So they're less likely to be incompetent or unqualified buyers. So that means that maybe your close rate is even having an effect. So if we look back to the sheet here, maybe the 10% boost here has an indirect or direct correlation, and it gives you a 5% boost in close rate. And then maybe the fact that you presented these things all properly, you also got an average order value increase because you were able to upsell people on other things because you presented them properly on your website. And maybe let's say you got another $100 increase in average order value. So you see how all these things can have an effect and trickle down on everything else. And then all of these are multiplicative and have an effect on each other. So this is something we're not going to talk about these benefits directly because these are more indirect. It's going to depend on the type of business you have. They're more variable, they're less quantifiable, they're less easy to measure. But in terms of conversion rate boost, this is an easy metric to measure. You see your website, you have 2,000 visitors a month, you have 10 people contacting you. Now you do improvements, you have 2,000 visitors a month the same, now you got 20 people contacting you. And then also, another side note, but improving your website structure and having more people convert actually indicates to Google, if you set up your tags properly and you set up all your analytics properly, indicates to Google that your website is more valuable and that people actually want to be on your website. And what that does is that it has an effect also on your search engine rankings. So again, indirect, but if you have 200 more visitors a month because your website is optimized, even just the structure, keeping people more engaged, more time spent on your website, Google's going to recognize that as being valuable and they're going to boost you up. So then you can even get boosts from that end of the funnel. So very important to think of your website as the center of everything going on online. So everybody basically goes from your website or they directly contact you. But 80%, I would say, if people are going to pass by your website, if they're checking your reputation online, they're going to go through your website. Checking your social media, they're going to go through your website. Seeing you online in any place, they're going to most likely end up on your website or at least click the link. So that's pretty much it for that. So let's actually get into what to do. Actually, side note before we do that, the other thing too is reduce cost in advertising. So if you're spending money on advertising, on advertisements, maybe you're spending $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month in terms of Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever it may be. If you get a 10% increase in conversion rate, that means you're acquiring the same amount of customers for 10% less. So it's costing you less money every month to run your advertising. So a good example would be if you have a $20,000 a month of spend in advertising and your landing page for those ads is now converting 10% better. Well, now you've just saved, it's not the equivalent because the math is different, but in any case, you've saved around $2,000. You're saving to around $2,000 a month just because you've done these improvements. So if you could imagine, doing these improvements, whatever it costs you, if you understand that it's saving you $2,000 a month, times 12 months, times maybe 5 years that these improvements are going to be worth it for you. Well, now you just made, 2,000 times 12, $24,000 a year, 24 times 5, call it 100 or whatever, maybe close to 120 something. So that's pretty much it, how you could see it, through the years as well. So let's get to the types of optimizations. So first thing is the main page, so above and below the fold. So this is going to be your main landing page, your main home page. The page that has 80% plus of your traffic where you're trying to redirect people to. If you have a website that's more complex, maybe you have a bunch of pages. If you're a service business that's online, you're going to have even more. Maybe you have your blogs and stuff like that. If you're a local service business, maybe you have your pages for your services. Well, we're going to focus much of our attention on the main page because that's where you get most people to click and stay or click and leave. So this is where most people are going to land. This is where most of your attention should be put, as well as your attention should be even more put to the above the fold section. Above the fold meaning whatever is seen. So basically this screen, if I were to go on a website here, this is the screen I see, that's the above the fold. So that is what is above before I scroll down. So if it's the first appearance of it. So the first appearance is the most important one because I believe it's something like 80% of clicks to your website bounce off your above the fold. So not 20% of people go through, but 80% of people are stuck there. So 80%, if you could affect the most people, it's there. Then we're going to talk about some all page optimizations, all the other pages you may have, and then globalization tips. If you have a company that's maybe offering its services in different regions, different countries, different languages, and so on, we're going to talk about that. So considerations that apply to all aspects of website structure. Across site, all pages benefit from being optimized. Under-optimized pages can be the weak link in a change that causes it to snap. So if, let's say, you're structured in a way, your homepage, then you have your other pages that are less, how could you say, they're less optimized, they're not structured properly. The person might get confused, they might get some issues on the other page, and that might lead you to snap. So having, obviously, the more pages you could optimize, the better. But I would say first start with the homepage, then you do the rest. Mobile optimizations. These are most important for mobile. I think it's 80% of traffic or even more is spent on mobile nowadays. It's probably going to keep increasing. And not only that, it's going to depend on your industry. You know, if you have construction business, most times you're probably going to get your leads from desktop. It's probably going to be a 50-50 split. But if you, let's say you're a hair salon or you're an agency or you're somewhere where you're getting ads and most of your ads are going to be on mobile, well, you want to optimize your mobile first. Basically, you want to do your website on mobile first and then translate to desktop instead of desktop first and then mobile. So basically, you want it to look the best on mobile, whatever advantages you could get there, and then whatever disadvantages, you pay the price on desktop instead of the one on mobile. Regular testing and monitoring, just overall tip, you always want to keep checking conversion rates, see if there's any dips, maybe different strategies don't affect your conversion anymore, and so on and so forth. So, main page optimizations. So, like I was saying, main page accounts for 80% plus of your traffic. So this is the most important place to do it. Again, just to reiterate, can increase sales, reduce confusion, boost SEO. How do you structure the main page? So first thing is, before you have the main page, you have the loading page. Most people don't use it. I would recommend it just for certain sites. In most cases, it's not really worth it to do it, because if your site is loading fast enough, you don't need the loading page. Now, if your site is more complex, maybe you have an app, a software, or your page is really heavy and needs to be heavy, because we have another training going over site speed, and you basically want your website to be as fast as possible. So having a loaded page is only necessary if your speed, the speed of your website isn't there, but it can keep conversion rates going, because instead of just having page loading and then nothing's loading and you just see a blank screen in a circle, at least your landing page, your loading page is going to have less information, it's going to be faster to load, and it's just going to keep people engaged enough time so that they actually end up on your website. So that might increase your conversion rate by a little bit, but again, most cases, if you don't have heavy websites, this is not going to be worth it. Now, when we get into the actual website, we have the about the full. So what does that mean? It's the header, the title, the description, the main call to action, and VSL, as well as the background image. What I would say is, for most businesses, what you want is, on your main page, you want to include your header, your title and description. Main call to action means the main button you want people, the main action you want people to take, whether it's contact us now, call us now, email us now, fill out the form, whatever it may be. And you also want to include a VSL. This is probably the most important thing that most businesses don't do. A VSL of just you talking to the camera. It could be as simple as that. It could be you in front of maybe your office. It could be you. It could be done professionally, done semi-professionally, whatever it may be. Just you talking to the camera keeps people engaged, gets people to watch your videos. If they do watch it, that increases the likelihood you sell by tremendous amounts. This is something that's used a lot in the agency world. So if you're an agency, you might have known that this trick is very useful. If you're not an agency, this is something like a service business that hasn't been implemented yet in the main market, but is extremely valuable. Because if you could think about it this way, everybody's watching content. Everybody's on their phone, everybody's on their desktop, everybody's looking at videos all the time. If you have a video of you that just keeps people engaged, it's a low effort. It's easier to, for most cases, it's easier to just watch a video instead of having to read everything. Like these, I'll give you an example of this training. It's a lot easier to watch this video of me explain these trainings and explain the little variations of it. You get more feedback from me, you get more understanding than if you were to just read these things black and white. It just has a different feel to it. So increases conversion rates there. I don't have the statistics, it's going to depend on every single website, all the other optimizations, but this seems to be the top thing to do for your service business. Just has an overnight rate of success. How to structure the VSL. So I would say video structure in the VSL address all the common questions customers have about your business, about your service in a conversational tone. from most to least common question. Use face and voice of brand owner with a background of service offered. So ideally that's what would be the setting. But the reason why you want to address every single question, every single objection, is basically you're trying to sell your service. Obviously they still haven't been sold on it if they're watching the video. And so what you want is just to, whatever objection they may have. So if the biggest objection is the price, second biggest objection is that they don't trust you, and then third biggest objection is going to be that they don't, they've had bad experiences in the past and they don't trust the industry. Well, what you could do in that video is that first thing you address is our prices are ta-ta-ta-ta, or whatever way you're going to structure it. Second thing you're going to talk about is we've worked with 1,000+ clients across 10+ years with in 1,000 different countries, like whatever it be, give you the most information, and then you go for the third objection. So you structure it this way so that the video could be 100 minutes long. It could be as long as you want it to be. Most cases you might want to just do a 5-minute video, or else you could even film a video like I'm filming right now, where it's more a conversational tone-paced video, where it's less intensive and sales type. So you could test those both out. You could always test it. It's going to depend on your industry. Some industries convert better with long-form content, and then some other industries convert better with short-form content. I would say the lower ticket service you have, the better it is for you to have a shorter video, and the higher ticket service you have, the better it is to have a bigger video. Because the thing is, if you could think about it this way, if someone's going to spend $100,000 with your business, they want to really make sure you're not going to fuck them over. And if you do that, maybe I'm going to get demonetized for that word, but anyways, if you do that, you want to make sure that your video is long, explicative. It gives them handles every single objection. Like, it's just all encompassing. That's just going to make them reassured. And for that type of service, they're going to want that. Maybe they're not going to watch it all. Maybe they're going to end up watching 10 minutes of it. But in any case, you have it there. Now, if you're a service business like a hair salon, you're not going to really sell people on the idea of getting their haircuts at your place. There's not real objections except for, how's it going to look on me? Are you guys going to mess me up? And are your price reasonable? Like, that's pretty much it. And also the vibe. So maybe your VSL is going to be tilted more towards showing the environment of the hair salon, giving them the vibe of it, showing you people laughing, people smiling. It's going to be more tilted towards that compared to someone who's selling $100,000 service, who's going to be talking to the camera, explaining different things and going over them one to the other. That's how you could do it. After that, so video content is going to depend. Then thumbnail, edited to entice clicks. You could check maybe in your industry the best guys on YouTube, see what their thumbnail is for the best performing video. Copy that, modify it for yours. You could always do that. You could check, best videos online. Like Mr. Beast, he tests out his thumbnails. 100 thumbnails per video, like something crazy like that. So you could check out what type of style they have and maybe adapt it for yours. Again, it's going to depend on the industry, so a little bit difficult to say. No autoplay. Best to have a VSL on autoplay as it slows down the website. Not to have it on autoplay as it slows down the website. Best to have it embedded into the site so it plays within it and prevents visitors from leaving the site to view the video. So you don't want a click that gets them out of there. You want it to be embedded in your website. Best practice for speed is going to be to have it embedded in YouTube or Vimeo or whatever other streaming platform. You don't want it to be actually hosted within your website. Well, it's better in some ways, worse in others, but in most cases you want it to be embedded in YouTube so that when the person clicks on the video, it's YouTube that's loading it, and so your website's going to be a faster loading website experience for them. So in the end, it's going to be better. You could have autoplay. I say no autoplay just as a rule of thumb, but some people, what they do is they have autoplay, so it starts playing automatically, and then you could press to have the volume. The thing is that how much of it is going to affect your speed. So it's going to depend. If it affects a lot your speed, then you might consider not doing it. If it doesn't affect it much, if your website is already loading at 0.6 seconds, having an increase in 0.2 seconds of speed for that advantage might be worth it for you. But if your website is already heavy and slow and you're really trying to cut it down, maybe over 2 seconds in loading speed, then you don't want to play with that. That's pretty much it. Then background image. Best background image is the one that shows clients before and after of the service that you do, as well as show some authority. So if you're a dentist, if you're a hair salon, if you're whatever, you want to show the service you've provided to the people before. If you're a contractor, you want to show a house with a beautiful roof. You're an agency, you want to show maybe some results, or at least maybe you on a platform talking to people. Maybe you at a conference, show some authority, show some legitimateness, whatever you would say. So you can set this up that way. So your background looks like that. Then you have your header, your VSL. and you have the contact information, so the call to action. That call to action, by the way, could be the form, it could be the booking calendar, it could be just a button. In most cases, if you have a form, if you're trying to get form fill outs, put the form. If you're trying to get a booking calendar, put the booking calendar. And if you want them to email you, write out the email. Don't say just press here to email us. Write down the email, because maybe people want to do it on their phone. Same thing for phone numbers, you want to write the actual phone number instead of just saying call us. You actually write the phone number down, because if people are on their desktop, when they see the phone number, they're going to type it on their phone instead of having to click the button. Nobody clicks a button on the desktop to call you. They always end up doing it on their phone. Well, most cases, 95% of the times. So that's pretty much it for above the fold. Now, second section, below the fold. So below the fold refers to any part of the website that isn't visible initially when the website loads. So although less people will see part of your website, it's still important as it serves to further convince visitors to act and contact/purchase. As soon as the above the fold ends, you want to add with the following in order. I would say, number one thing, social proof. We've talked about this in other videos, but basically you want video reviews. So people, selfie style, saying how much they've loved the experience with you, how happy they are about the service you offer them. You want as many as those as possible. And you also want your Google reviews and your Facebook reviews embedded, or just maybe you type them out and you change them through time. Basically showing how many Google reviews you have, what's the rating, how many maybe even Trustpilot reviews you have, what's the rating, how many Facebook reviews you have, what's the rating. Video reviews a bunch, and that just cements you, if you have those, that just cements you as, okay, I could trust this person. And then you sprinkle it through the website as well, but basically that just makes sure that, okay, you seem as legitimate as you can be, because that's what your social proof is. Then after that, you might show your services, and again, this is going to depend on what type of business you have, so what type of industry and what type of objections you're trying to handle first. So this is a loosely structured guide, just to put it this way in this section here. So services, images with title and descriptions of the main services, the ones you want them to contact you for. So if you have 10 services and you know that the most popular services are, let's say if you're a hair salon and people are coming in for basic haircuts, maybe fades for men, and the most popular service for women is highlights. Well, you want to show men's section, let's say, first thing you want to mention is fades, and for women, first thing you want to mention is highlights. You want to show those services first. And if you're showing images, same thing, you want to show the most common images, the most common services that are offered at the salon, / the ones you prefer to do the most, or the ones that make you the most money, or that you want to encourage the most. So you want a mix of those. Past work, also very important. Show your before and after. If you have videos, even better. Showcase the best work you've ever done and the work you do most commonly. Best to put your best foot forward. So there you could just show, so you've had your social proof, all the reviews that people have left you, all the videos of those. Then you've got your services, so you just show what you actually do. And then you've got all the past work, so showing what you actually did. So it's showing people trusted us to do this, and we've done it this way. So look how we've done it. Then you could even do more testimonials after. So social proof also, I forgot to mention, but it's also trust badges. So you could put, social media accounts, you could put certificates, you could put all the bunch of stuff. And then here you could show your testimonials. I kind of messed these two things up, but in the same token, they're kind of the same principle. You're trying to show authority, you're trying to show that you're a trustworthy source. So it's basically trustworthiness in those two sections. And you could interchange, you could have a bunch of information both on how you want to set these things up. Then you could show your services again, just show a bunch of other services that you may have, maybe your secondary services, your less common services. Then you can put your about us, your FAQs, your booking calendars if applicable, your map if applicable. You basically, this is the other thing with website structure, is that people might have a truncated website. So maybe homepage only has, 5 sections, not a lot of information. If people want to read more, they're going to read more. So if you have a, 300 section website, when the person's tired of reading your website, they're going to click on an action call, or they're going to leave your website. So that you have more information, it just leads to better conversions. The only caveat to this is that if it affects your site speed. So if having too much information makes your site speed slower, then you would want to truncate it. But in any case, the more information you have, the better it is. The more you get people information to actually contact you in different ways. If you have different offers, you want to show all your offers. You could make it as long as you want, basically. So after that, map, booking calendar, if you have all those things, if you have a form fill out, you should apply those. Then applicable across sites, some optimizations here. Call to actions, across the page, you want to sprinkle your call to actions. This is a design feature, but also a concept structure, website structure feature. Basically, your call to action is your button. So the button that you want people to click, call us now or whatever, maybe you put your number. You want that button to be everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean whenever they scroll, you never want them to scroll outside of seeing a button. You always want them to have the option of seeing a button, even that you should have a floater button on desktop and even on mobile for, let's say, phone calls. So that on mobile, people could just click on phone call, increase the likelihood they're going to click, and just have it present all the time. Not have it hidden in your menu, not have it in the contact section, have it there. That increasing conversion rates is probably the easiest thing to increase conversion rates, and you could do it in a way that's aesthetic, that doesn't displease the eye. So for most businesses, most brands, it's going to make sense. After that, booking calendar optimizations. This is going to be more for agencies or businesses that are having online calls, but there's a bunch of optimizations you could do to boost conversions and improve the quality of your leads. So you could structure it this way. So information gathering, you could ask for all this information here. And one thing that you could do that people don't do is that maybe they have their booking calendar, they're only going to ask for the basic information, your name, your email, your phone number, and maybe send text messages too. What you can do is you could have a qualifying question. And what that does is that for your sales team, they're getting, and you can make this deeper, this is just the front view of it, but you could get, you could ask them a question like, what would be the ideal outcome for this call? Write at least one sentence. This might hurt your conversion rate, so it might hurt the likelihood that they're actually going to fill out that form. But it also gives you so much qualifying information so that for the sales call, you'll be more likely to get information. So instead of more likely to get a sale. So instead of having just a, write extra info here, you could have something that's more direct and more asking them a question. What would be the ideal outcome for this call? Maybe you add at the end, add any extra information you want to add. Information on calendar, information that shows up on calendar, great way to educate people about the call and the process of the sale, as well as filter out those who don't fit. So this is what you're going to be asking on the calendar form, but you also may have a description and a title. In that title and description, you actually reiterate your offer, reiterate your reviews. You might say, we do residential and commercial roofing that we've done since 2018 for 1,000 plus happy customers in Canada, whatever it may be. So you could add that there. That just increases the likelihood that they're actually going to fill out the form. So you could add that information there. What the call entails, add information about who is this for, who is this not for. This is a booking call for residential roofing. If you're looking for commercial roofing here, book a call here so you can redirect people. That to the language and proper time zones. So this is another little adaptation there. You can add social proof like I was saying before. Then pre-booking cross-sells. So when a client is looking to book for a particular service, you can add an auxiliary service. Example, beard trim when a man booked a haircut. This can allow you to increase the average order value of each customer and fill your calendar up even more. So for consultation type appointments, you can have the cross-sells be another service you offer. You can ask them, and if they would like to discuss it as well during the call. Low friction, high rewards. So basically, that could be in your thank you page. It could be set after they've booked a call, or it could be right before they book a call. You say, would you like to add this to your call? They just, press a checkpoint, a checkbox. They say yes. So now you've added that to the call. So now you've just introduced them to a new offer, increasing potentially your AOV and your LTV, and even maybe your close rate just because of that. So now you're just showing them more and just getting more out of the same call, basically for free. You could do it after, just to make sure you could do it after the thank you page, so that you're sure that they actually booked the call, so that it doesn't affect your conversion rate, but actually affects your LTV and AOV. So that's it there. Then for post booking, you could optimize the thank you page, like I was saying before, giving them more information as well as upselling them into other offers. So thank you page, after they book a call, you redirect them to this page. In that page, you tell them, thank you for contacting us, thank you for working with us. You could try to upsell them, you could try to cross-sell them, whatever. But you could also add reviews, testimonials, case studies, more information about your business, more resources, more tools, more guides, more trainings, more whatever. Just basically blast them with information, and that's going to increase your show-up rate. Because if they are because think of the comparison. If they were to fill out a form or a booking calendar, it's going to be the same principle for a thank you page. They fill out the form, the calendar, all they say after that when they fill out the form, thank you for submitting the form. And you just see a little pop-up at the bottom. Now imagine the comparison of seeing that. You're seeing a whole thank you page that has all the information there, gives them information about the call. So it says reinstates the call's information, reinstates maybe the form's information, shows them the reviews, shows them the case studies, shows them actions they could take in the meanwhile, gives them information that they could use in the meanwhile. So maybe if you're an agency, you give them 5 tips in the meanwhile before the call that they could use. So, little things like that, little bonuses like this, that you set up the page once, but now every single client that goes through that funnel is getting more value out of your business without even being on the call. What does that do? Well, that increases the relationship that you have with that client. That increases the likelihood after that they're actually going to end up contacting you and be on a call with you. So that's the way you could see here. And then cross sells, you could sell other stuff. Maybe you have digital products you're trying to upsell on those. You can maybe get some sales after checkout, after booking calendar checkout. Overall tips: have progress bar show on top. So if it's a long booking calendar form, it has a bunch of steps. You could write step 1, step 2. For some odd reason that increases conversion rate. I don't know the exact stats about it. But you can use the progress bar plus step 1 plus step 2. For some reason, people like to follow steps, increases conversion rate. If they leave booking but stay on the website, you can have a floating continue booking that follows them to the site, much like a continue shopping for e-commerce stores. This is something that if you see that you're getting a lot of repeat visitors, or if you're not seeing that, but in any case you want to implement that, if they abandon it, well, if they keep circulating on your site, or even if they come back to your site, it's like an add to cart. So they just keep having it there. So it just makes it easier next time, less friction for them to actually click on that button, actually take a call with you. That increases your conversion rate once again. So you see how these things could be, there's small implementations, there's small little tricks on these little angles, but they could increase, conversion rate by 5% here, 2% there, 5% there, 3% here. So in total, having all these optimizations set, your VSLs, your all these type of things, you're getting an increase of 10%, 15% just because you did these little tiny things that seem so negligible by themselves, but combined together have a really strong effect. So that's it there. Then you got some software links, which by the way are affiliate links. So I'm affiliated with these businesses. So if you want to use those, it's up to you. But if you use them, I'm going to make a little bit of money. Then you got some pop-up optimizations. So here you got the pop-up. So the thing is with pop-ups, I'm going to go with this first, is that pop-ups are annoying. So you're always going to annoy the customer with a pop-up. Because the pop-ups do help convert, but how do you get pop-ups to not be annoying, yet still help you with conversions? And the best way we found is to do exit intent pop-ups. Those seem to be the best ones. We have one on our site. So if I were to show you here, so I'm on our website here, and I would leave here, you see, download our 12 trainings for free. So the person can access training, sign up to a newsletter, all just because of this pop-up. Now, if they were to do any other action on the site, there's not going to be any other pop-ups. It's just going to be if they leave, and if they cancel that and they stay on the website after, it's not going to pop up again. It's only going to pop up if they change page. So the way you can see it is that this pop-up is not intrusive. It doesn't affect the experience of the client within the website. But as soon as their cursor is going to leave it, now they get popped up. What does that do? Well, if they're going to leave anyways, might as well give them something, or might as well encourage them to stay a little bit longer or engage with us. What does that do? Maybe conversion rate boost to 5%, maybe gets people to download your trainings or whatever lead magnet you may have in your website, and just captures leads that you wouldn't have captured anyways. So a great example of this is Neil Patel. I believe he has this for his tool Uber Suggest. So if I go to neilpatel.com, so if I were to leave, you see, so now there's a pop-up. Enter your website URL. This is like a little form. You see it has this progress bar in this case. So you see how you could just set it up like this. He has it like that. And then I believe maybe you see if you leave again, it doesn't pop up. But what does that do? I've seen him in a video talk about, for him, it was an increase in 6% in conversion rate. So something pretty significant for something so medial. So that's how you can set it. There's multiple ways to do it. You could have form fill outs. You could put your booking calendar there. You could put a bunch of information there. You could put reviews there if you want. Anyways, there are many ways to skin the cat, things to test. Most cases, you're just going to want to put just a lead magnet there. Then after that, you've got your inactivity pop-ups. This is another one which I'm less of a fan of. We don't even have it set up on our website, but for some businesses, this might make sense because if some person's taking too long to take an action, maybe you want to boost them and that maybe increase your conversion rate. But again, you might bother people. So take some and leave some. You can have it pop up, 20, 30 seconds after they haven't moved the cursor. So what does that do? Well, maybe the person left the computer, they closed the computer, whatever it may be. Well, the way they're going to get back on it it's going to be at least something more interesting than what they were on. Because if they stop moving the cursor for 30 seconds, then it means they left. It doesn't mean they're still reading in most cases. So with that pop-up, what does that do? Well, it just makes them more engaged when they are to get back on the computer, just because it's going to be something on their screen. Might get you conversions, how much, things to test out per business. Overall pop-up tips: make pop-up in color, having a different color than your background, or at least something that really attracts the attention. Make pop-up simple and easy to read, no large text or complicated words. Don't have redirects on pop-up. If you want them to book a call, embed a calendar on pop-up. So instead of just having the button, in our case, we need to have a button for access trainings. But what you could do is that you have a calendar and you want your pop-up to have the calendar, you embed it in the pop-up. So instead of then pressing to click to access calendar, the calendar is right there. Because maybe that person was searching for the calendar the whole time, they didn't find it, and now they found it. So there you go. Now for blog optimizations, this part I'm going to skim more through it because it's not going to apply to every single service business and it's going to depend on so many factors. But blogs are important because basically, if you see a blog is basically another page on your website. And the reason you might want to do blogs is to try to rank higher on search engines. So basically, rank higher on search engines and get more traffic to your site. So maybe you're discussing different subjects, you're doing different things, and that's just going to basically get people that are interested in those subjects to then see your main website and see your main offer. So if I could give the example of a roofing company, maybe you have blogs on how to shovel the snow on your roof, how to take care of your roof during the winter, whatever it may be. And then those blog articles are going to attract maybe people that were kind of looking for the roof repair, not directly, but they were looking to how to maintain the roof. And so maybe from that, they're going to see your website and then they're going to contact you for roofing maybe 3 months down the line. So you might get some leads from that. Now, how to optimize it for the best results, so basically getting the most amount of people to contact you for it. I would say, well, these are the advantages, but how you want to structure it is probably these guidelines. Again, rule of thumbs, you could always modify it up and down, but this, if you want to have a consistent, strong blog strategy, this might be the good one for you. So length, best performing blogs are at least 1900 words long. If topic merits it, aim for that length as a rule of thumb. You want to consistently update the blogs, and basically when you know to update the blog is when it's starting to decline in terms of traffic. So if it's getting a boost, at the beginning it's going to get more and more traffic, more people going to it. When you start seeing the curve going down, that's when you want to maybe update the content, change up the content, relink different things to it, just freshen it up, and that's going to get you back up ranking, and then basically you're going to go through that roller coaster all the time. Share, you want to have the buttons for sharing. You can make it sticky, so basically on the side of the page, so that people can share it to other people they might be interested to share that information with. It just makes it easier for them to do so. Increase the likelihood you get visitors to your site. Call to actions, include call to actions across the blog, so many people are reminded to contact you for your services. So even if you're talking about roofing maintenance, maybe you say, if you want to get your roof repaired, here's a button. So within your blogs you can embed ways for them to actually contact you directly, instead of them just reading a blog and never even thinking you have that service to offer. Maybe they just think you're just a blog. So now in that sense, include a bunch of CTAs. Content, best use blog posts as a way to bring up common questions people have about your services and offers. You can comment on the solution to problems they're facing. You can utilize infographics and original images within the content to engage visitors better. Aim to speak of content that has keywords that rank high for your niche. Frequency, 3 times per week is a good medium for frequency. Posting every day is best if manageable and if you have enough content to write about. Again, a rule of thumb. Link building, and the thing for frequency, it's best if you have, if you could write 20 blogs, it's best not to post them all on the same day. If you post them spread out, that's going to be better for SEO. It's usually going to make you rank better for all of them, instead of just having that one day blast that might get you traffic that one day and the day following. But if you spread them out, it's probably going to get you better results. Link building, look up old non-high traffic content and include links within it to transfer to new and fresh content. This is a link building strategy we talk about in our link building SEO video, so I'm not going to go over this too much. Comments, if you respond to all the blogs in the comments with keywords and links you're looking to rank for, this can help with SEO strategies. This is more SEO side. Non-service related content, can write content about non-directly related subjects such as local news. Example, a real estate firm can blog about the most beautiful homes in Montreal, knowing that in the visitors of that page, you have some that are looking to buy new homes, so you might get some traffic there. So there's many different ways to do blogs. We have a training going over front-end SEO And in that training, it goes over programmatic SEO. And basically, programmatic SEO is similar to writing blogs, but in that training, we go over how to set these things up to try to get the most amount of traffic possible. In this case, we'll just talk about structuring it, but in those videos, we could talk about actually how to squeeze the most out of them. Bonus, you could add minutes to read and a completion bar to keep visitors more engaged. It's just another side note to try to keep conversion rates. I don't know why. Well, it kind of makes sense why the completion bar, but in any case, people like to fill them out. So better to put them on every single one of those blog pages. Overall, blog tips: educate your customers on everything. The more they know, the better. Even if they won't understand the subject, it will give them the confidence that you do and that they can trust you. So conversion rate tip here. And then add value, don't add fluff. Add real, true tips, information will help much more conversions. Obviously, with AI now, you could automate these blogs. There's tools like Journalist AI, which I think I've linked somewhere. Maybe down at the end of the training, there's a bunch of software recommendation links. You can use that tool, and that tool is basically going to create AI content for your business that are blogs, and they can create it for every single subject you may have. That is very valuable. It's going to get you a lot of engagement, but you always want to double check just to make sure that the content is actually factual and actually has value. And the more condensed value you have, the better it is, because more people are going to stay on it. The more people that stay on it, well, the more Google's going to rank it higher, and the more visitors you get on it, the more visitors get on it, the more conversion rate you get, the more people you get to contact you. And if you optimize all these things, the higher conversion rate you have, so on and so forth. Now for globalization, you have a couple of optimizations. It's basically to reduce confusion and increase conversion rates. So this is going to be applying. This is going to apply to businesses that are located, in the US or whatever country you are in, but has customers that speak different languages, customers that are in different regions. So maybe you're an online business and you want to, offer your services in England as well as the UK, as well as the US and Canada and all these type of places. So maybe currencies are going to be different on different pages. Ways you express things are going to be different on different pages. So, main languages, best to add 2 to 3 languages that most visitors use on their website. So for US, it's going to be English and Spanish. For Canada, it's going to be English and French. For maybe, France, UK, there it's going to be English, French, Spanish, and Italian, something like that. Maybe even German, so you may have 5 over there. In any case, better, the more languages you have, the better, but most realistic businesses is going to be 2 to 3. Detection, so adding an automatic language region detector to change language of the website to users. Main language automatically. You could do it with most softwares, so even I believe with Wix and WordPress, you could probably do it relatively easily. What does that do? Well, that increases in conversion rate, because if you go on a website, and I'm a French speaker, let's say, and I go on a website that's in English, I have to find the button that says French. Maybe it's obvious, but it's a nuisance. It's more friction, and the least friction you could cause for the person, the higher likelihood they're actually going to contact you. The other thing too is that if the person doesn't understand the language, maybe they're not going to understand even how to get out of that language. So that might lead them to leave. And in the end, if they contact you, they might contact you for the wrong reasons because they misread things, so that causes confusion and so on and so forth. So you don't even want to deal with that. It's best to automatically detect and redirect. Design, for the design of the website, we'll need to adapt font sizes for different language pages. Maybe I should include this more in the website design training, but something to take into consideration is that if you have a font, let's say that's at 25 pixel size, and the sentence makes sense on desktop in French, well, maybe the French way to say it has 7 words, and the English way to say it has 5 words. So when you are to do let's say you had the English version, and you're doing the French version now, when you're doing the French version, it's taking up 2 lines. And since it's taking up 2 lines, it's breaking the whole structure of your website. And now the whole above the fold, let's say, isn't structured in a way where everything looks nice and neat and structured properly. It looks all messed up and it's cut off. So you have to think of that, and then maybe modify the pixel size for the average words that are going to happen, because this is what we've seen when we worked with French websites, is that English usually takes 5 words and French usually takes 7. That's the ratio. And then what happens is that everything just, after that, the whole website kind of destructures itself. So you kind of end up doing 2 websites in terms of the fonts for different languages. Then after that, you have the booking calendar. So you can adapt the software like booking calendars to adapt to languages, adapt to the regions, adapt to all that type of stuff. Most booking calendars already have that implemented, but maybe you could teach it. If you're on the French version, you have the French booking calendar. If you're on the English version, you have the English. If you have the UK one, you have the UK one. So, because you can have the English site, but the English site could be the US version and the UK version. Then you can have the English site or the French site for the Canada and US version. So anyways, bunch of variations you could play with. Images and videos can adapt all the media and illustrations to different languages as well. You gotta make sure of that. So that means currencies, that means languages. You gotta just check everything out, make sure it goes good. SEO, same thing. Title tags, meta descriptions, everything you gotta change for the different languages just to make sure that you have them set. How do you optimize for different regions? Well, you got your metrics, you got maybe services that you don't offer in one place and you offer to the other, you gotta keep in mind. Then maybe even pricing. So if you're showing pricing, well, it's gonna be different currencies, different rates, maybe extra rates for different countries or something like that. Most cases, you're not gonna probably be showing your pricing on your website, but if you're not a local service business, but in any case, something to remind yourself of. Overall tips. The more personalized, the better. You can use specific names for things. For example, if you offer apartment remodels in USA, you will call them flat remodels in England. And make sure if you accept payments on website, the currencies are set to different ones on each country using currency converter tools for accurate changes. So that's pretty much it for the website structure video. If I go back to the Miro board, just to show you again the value of this. So if you were to optimize all these things, like we were saying, the above the fold, below the fold, if you have a booking calendar or form fill out, if you have pop-ups, you get exit intent, your loading page, your blogs, your globalization, how much conversion rate boost can you get? Well, that's going to depend on where you're standing. What's your standing right now. But in most cases, I would say you could get easily 10% boost just by improving your website structure. So now imagine, we've talked about, we're going to talk about the website design and website speed in other videos, but you could also get a boost of 10% with website speed depending on where you're starting from, and same thing for website design. So, you could imagine you could get 30% more conversions. Well, what does that mean for your business? If we're talking about here, we go back to 0 here, and we add, actually, we're going to have to do this like this. So, if you were to, total increase 30%, your 30% on your bottom line, $2,600 in profit extra in this example. Obviously, if you're a bigger business and your business is making 80,000, well, now you're making 26. You do times 10 depending on the business you have. Then, 2 times as well. This is the other thing too, after, every month. So this is 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, after 60 months, well, return without the improvements, monthly was this, and now monthly is this, but what really has an effect is the total, so you see how after 5 years of improving just, 30% in terms of conversion rate, you've made what seems to be something like 200,000 more in your business, after 5 years. So you see how these things can have an effect. Obviously, this is just speculative. You're going to have to test for your own business to see if it actually has any real effect. And if this doesn't affect the other places as well, because it might be better, but it might be worse too. We have to keep in mind also that if you increase conversion rate boost, well, maybe you're getting more people to convert on your website, but you're getting less people to actually close because you're getting more unqualified people because you're getting them to sign up faster and so on. But it could also have the other side effect, which if you're doing it properly, then maybe you're enticing people more on other services. And like we're saying before, you could increase AOV, increase close rate, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it for this video. This is this section here. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'm going to try to answer them all. If you have anything you'd like to add also, because this, I'm trying to make it bigger and bigger. So if you have anything that you think I should add that makes no sense or that could be ameliorated, I'd like to do so. I'd like to keep growing this and making it better. I find it's pretty good for the moment being, but there's always things to improve on. I think we're 95% of the way there, but there's always, even with through time, there's going to be things to go on about, and new ways, new strategies are going to pop up in the market. So if you guys have any ideas, please let me know. It could be fun to add to this. And secondly, if you guys want to download our trainings, we have those 12 trainings I was talking about. So we have the ones on SEO, we have the ones on Google My Business, review sites, and we have the ones on website structure, the one basically I just covered today. So if you want access to that, all the links within it, some of them are affiliate links, some of them are not. So it depends on which one. You can download those for free. You access those, you check them out the time you want. You sign up with email. I believe it's just an email right now. So sign up with just the email, get it in your inbox, just check your inbox, maybe your spam in case the emails don't land there. You might get some more emails from us. We might give you some more tips, but in any case, you get it for free. And then if you want to access this whole bundle, this optimization bundle, we call it, all the information that we have here, all the extra information that we talked about in the other videos as well, all of this, and just have it access for your own. You can duplicate it tomorrow. You could purchase this in the description below. So this is a paid product, but you have access to more information. Basically, you have access to tools. The other one is just information, so you get the information for free. But if you want access to the projections calculator and all the other type of tools, like we have a 300-point checklist, it's a little bit more complex. You can access that. It's going to be written on the page too. So if you check out that page, you're going to see all the information there. That's pretty much it for the video. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.